Okay, guys, welcome to a second part of a series of videos. Well, actually, not a second part, maybe fifth or sixth part. A series of videos that I'm doing trying to explain the concept of Eastern thought. I'm trying to. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do through this series? I'm trying to bring us Westerners back to the East. Because the East is where life began, where everything flows from, where everything rises from, where new life gives birth from. All those things, all those physical things that we can experience that have benefited the world, that have helped us to live, they all come from the East. Because Western thought is actually new. It's pretty new. I think it originated. People have speculated. I think Western thought originated in the first century. Now, what do I mean by Western thought? Things like reason, things like science, things like being logical, things like philosophy. I categorize all those four things, maybe five things, into the category of Western thought. Why? Because most of all they have to do is with your mind. Because to the Westerner, we think about everything that's in our mind. Christianity, if you think about it, the majority of things in Christianity are things that we've never experienced. This whole concept of a Satan, this whole concept of Jesus being the Son of God. I mean, nobody can prove these things. And that's what it's thrived upon, because it's the heart and soul of Western thought. I mean, because during the first century, there was a lot of things going around. And Christianity kind of paved the way for the Greeks to be able to gain their power back in the world, because they were losing the battle. Until they started to take over Judea, they started to take over other countries as well, and they started to move further and further east. And as they did that, their ways started to dominate the ancient ways. And what we have to do is get back to those ancient ways. Because Eastern thought is all about... Let's take an example of a hand. Now, majority of people would just describe a hand as something that you pick up stuff with, or something that it's just a limb attached to your body. But no, in Eastern thought, your hand, especially your right hand, was where all your power flowed. It was usually because it was usually the strong hand. Majority of people are mostly right-handed. And that's where everything, that's where all your power flowed. And that's why there's examples, like, let's say in the Bible, about God's right hand, or the prophet's right hand, or the king's right hand. The right hand was used to bless the people. It was also used as when the king gave a decree, such things like that. Because it's all about those physical actions, those things you can experience. The five senses, things you can smell, things you can see, touch, hear. What's here? What's in the here and now? That's why Eastern thought, it doesn't concern itself with things that we can't experience, like aliens or science, or trying to explore things outside of the origins of life and evolution and all those different things that I would say Western thought has given to the world. So if you want to understand, let's say, the Japanese culture, Chinese culture, maybe even the Russian culture, but mainly the Jewish culture, the Hebrew culture, You have to start thinking things that have to do with your five senses. That's why the majority of things that, let's say, God does, or majority of the things that come from the East, all have to do with those senses. Um, like karate, tai chi, meditation, even the concept of prayer, the ancient concept of prayer, not the modernized, lift your hands up and close your eyes stuff. I'm talking about the bowing down and worshiping prayer, the real type of prayer. Um, that's what we got to do. That's what's holding us back from truly understanding the Bible, from truly having, this peace that, the world's looking for. Because we have to get out of, how can I say this? We have to get out of our minds and start getting back to the physical. Start enjoying just being alive, having a family, being married. All those things are very important in Eastern culture. And all those things aren't really, they're kind of pushed aside in, us Westerners' minds. So we have to karate chop. We have to roundhouse kick. We have to shatter into pieces our Western minds if we're ever going to run back to the East. And I'm using those terms on purpose because life is kind of like a big action sequence. Really a person is characterized by their actions. And I know that the majority of the world follows, let's say, I think that Christianity is the number one religion in the world. And Christianity says that people aren't judged by their actions. Why? Because once again, Christianity is ruled by Western thought or Greek thought. It's all about the belief system to them. It's all in your mind, once again. So what do we got to do? We got to get back to the physical. Because if we do that, we'll finally understand God, as we call it. Or if you want to call him the powers that created the world, all those different things make up God. So, once you do that, I think that peace will come. So, thank you for listening.